Right now, we're going to look at political participation. Participation in anything in life, there's always this attitude where we say, what's in it for me? So when we talk about political and civic activities, we have to take a look at something that we might call the rational actor theory, where our choices are based on the individual's assessment of costs and benefits. And then there are also those of us who basically benefit from other people's decisions, but we don't participate in the process ourselves. We would be called free riders. So there's always this what's in it for me type of attitude in politics. There are various forms of political participation. Of course, when we take civics classes, and we're taking a class like this, there always seems to be this attitude where it's just all about voting. But voting isn't the only type of political participation. Writing letters to your representatives, working for a candidate, contributing money, and so on and so forth are also different forms of political participation. Voting is considered to be low frequency. You only vote once, but you can write to as many candidates as you want. You can protest as long as you have a permit. You can give to many candidates if you'd like. You can donate money. So there are different types of frequencies that are out there. There's low frequency political participation, and there's high frequency political participation. In order to have some sort of involvement in politics, you need resources. You have to have an interest in it, and sometimes it's just basically being asked. A candidate might ask for your support, and then you'll participate. They might tell you to put a sign on their lawn, then you'll participate. Sometimes you have the attitude where it's, if the candidate doesn't come to me, I'm not going to engage in this election. I'm not going to vote for that certain candidate. So sometimes being asked to participate is going to get you to show up on election day, or get you to campaign for somebody, or maybe coax you into contributing to a candidate. Of course, those who are more educated are going to participate a little bit more. Those who feel like they have more at stake in the political process are going to participate a little bit more. Those who feel like they have a lot to lose if they don't participate are going to participate a little bit more in the political process. You find that women participate more than men. Whites participate more than minorities. Men contribute more money to political campaigns than women do as well. Political engagement comes in many different forms. There's political interest, political efficacy, political information, and whether or not you have a strong sense of what party you belong to, whether you are a strong Democrat or a strong Republican. There is also something called political mobilization. Direct mobilization means that you're going to contact citizens directly to participate in political activities. Indirect mobilization, leaders use networks of friends to persuade others to participate. There's always a cost involved. There's always this belief that what is the benefit? So remember, it goes back to that original slide that there is a cost and benefit to mobilizing as well. Voting, we talk about that often. Average rates of voter turnout in the United States are lower than what you might find in rates of other democracies. Voter turnout is higher amongst older folks than younger folks. Also, status and wealth, level of education have something to do with how much you're going to participate, or whether or not you're going to vote in our political sphere. Here is a graph on who participated in the 2016 election. Here are the demographics of those people who did not participate. What are some of the factors for not participating on election day? You didn't register to vote. Maybe it was difficult to register. Maybe you didn't like when the election was being held. Maybe it's depressing that there's only one of two parties that usually wins. Maybe there are so many elections taking place that we have something called voter fatigue. You have a presidential election, you have a congressional election, you have gubernatorial elections, you have local elections, you have mayoral elections, and so on and so forth. And then also there are non-competitive political races. Many races are uncontested, so if you know that a Democrat is usually going to win and there's no Republican candidate running against the Democrat, why do I even bother showing up that day? We also have what we might call partisans. We have independents who are in the center. They lean towards one party more than the other. We would call those swing voters, but sometimes we refer to partisans. I should say partisans are referred to as true Republicans or core Republicans or hardcore Democrats. It's the swing voter that we have to pay attention to because they usually decide an election's favorability for a Democrat or Republican on election day. And then we have what we call prospective and retrospective voting. Prospective voting is when we make a decision based on a candidate's promises, as opposed to retrospective voting when we look back at a candidate's record and make a decision as to whether or not we want to re-elect that candidate into office.